One thing that we have to understand is that racism is simply the face of white supremacy, and classism is the mind of white supremacy. You ever been watching a boxing match, right? And you seen a boxer get beat the hell up, like his eyes is puffy, his lips are busted, nose broken, right? But somehow, some way, he still manages, or she still manages, to win that fight. That's because their opponent attacked their face, but they did not beat their mind. And that is what we as black people in particular, and poor people in general, are up against. We stay at each other's throat over racism. Every day you turn on the news, racism. Every day you go on Facebook, racism. And yet the masters of the people, the 85%, like we talked about yesterday, they're ruling over poor white, black, brown, and even some poor Asians. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta really, really understand that there are levels to this shit. There are levels to oppression. There are levels to tyranny. And I'm not saying that racism does not exist. You know what I'm saying? I know that racism exists. I'm a black man in America, for crying out loud. But we have to understand that a lot of these racist acts are being manufactured from the top to keep us fighting at the bottom. So we never wake up and say, okay, let's put our differences to the side for a moment and go after the real problem. The real problem is not Billy, who drives a pickup truck and calls black people niggers. The real problem is not the Asian who watched Menace to Society too many times and has a negative depiction of black people. The real problem is the 1% that control 99% of the wealth, while 99% of the people fight over 1% of the wealth. So we have to keep that in mind on a day-to-day basis. It doesn't mean that we don't have differences that we have to hash out. It just means that we have to focus on the origin of all of this chaos. It's the international bankers, it's the shadow government, what some people like to call the elites. Those are the real damn problem. Once we get them out of the way, we can, go after each other, whatever. But as long as those people are at the top and they are the puppeteers, we're going to always be at odds with one another and we'll never really be free.